How is it going, everybody? You're watching Then About Tech, and today we're going to talk about Apple TV. More specifically, is it still worth it in 2023? So let's get started. Let's unbox this bad boy and let's talk about all that. Okay, so let's unbox the new Apple TV. As you can see, this is the Apple TV 4K Wi-Fi plus Ethernet option. So as you can see, 128 Wi-Fi Ethernet, so this is the top of the range model. Please keep in mind that even though it's really confusing, this is the new Apple TV. It's the Apple TV 4K third generation, and we're going to talk about models in a second. Okay, so box is pretty easy, as you can see right there, just information, and we have some tabs right here. So let's open them up, and then the bottom one, and then we're good to go. I bought this Apple TV in Brazil, that's why you can see the pricing here, which may be a little bit strange for you, but in the US, this will set you back $149, and the entry level 64 gig without Ethernet, $129. So keep that in mind for later. Let's open it up, and as you can see right here, this suspense that Apple always builds on their unboxings, and this is on purpose. I don't know if you know that, but it is. And as you can see right here, we have the Apple TV box, which looks very, very familiar. We're gonna take a look at previous generations in a second. So let's put it to the side. Here we have nothing on this top part. And here we just have a few more stuff. So let me see if I can grab this. Here we go, so nothing here either. And then right there, we have more stuff. So we have cable, of course, Brazil standard, as you can see right here. And then your typical Apple TV cable that looks exactly the same for many, many years. It's rubbery, actually. Here we have the remote, which is slightly larger than previous generations and also heavier. This is aluminum. So let's open it up. You don't have to do that, but I like it. And then, as you can see right here, this is the remote. So it has infrared, but it's actually Bluetooth as well. Here's the microphone. So turn on and off button, navigation buttons, TV, up and down for volume, mute, play and pause, and back. And here we have the microphone. So the button for you to talk to Siri and so on. And of course, here we have your charging port. Because there are no external batteries or anything, this is a rechargeable device, lithium-ion battery here inside, just like your iPhone. And one thing that I love, this is USB-C. That's right, Apple is really moving away from Lightning. And as you can see right here from the cable, there we have it. So USB-C, as you can see, and if we remove it, put it to the side, USB-C as well. So a Type-C to Type-C cable. Really, really nice. We pretty much have just a few Apple products with Lightning. And here, the rest of the box, we just have some paperwork and documentation, nothing special here. So nothing here to pay attention to. And of course, let me just show you previous generations Apple TV so we can compare it. So as you can see here, I have 3 Apple TV models and they look pretty much the same, even though this one is over 10 years old. So this is actually the Apple TV third generation, period. Okay, so as you guys can see, pretty simple control and all. Here we have the Apple TV 4K first generation. So as you can see right here, larger box, pretty heavy actually, and the black remote, which I really like the looks, but I hate the functionality. And here we have the new Apple TV 4K third generation. So this is Apple TV third generation, this is Apple TV 4K third generation. That's right. So this is how they look. This is the unboxing. Okay, so now that you know what an Apple TV is and how it looks, let's talk about what it does and if it's worth it or not. The first thing you're going to do with your Apple TV after you unbox it is of course connect it to power, connect it to your TV using an HDMI cable, and of course connect it to the internet. And after that, sign in to your Apple ID. And this is where it gets interesting because an Apple TV is actually an Apple device. Just like your iPhone, your iPad, or Mac, it runs a dedicated operating system called tvOS. So iPhone runs iOS, Mac runs macOS, your Apple TV runs tvOS. And because of that, the Apple TV is a very interesting device. After you're done with the setup process, you're gonna see your Apple TV home screen as you're seeing on the screen right now. And as you can see, you have quite a lot of apps. And that's a very interesting thing about the Apple TV because, as I said, it's an Apple device. So it has tons of apps. Actually, the Apple TV has a dedicated app store, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So, coming back to the home screen of your Apple TV, you have there your first row. So you have the Apple TV app, you have Apple Music, Photos, Apple Fitness Plus, and the App Store. And this is already a very important part to talk about right here in this video, and that is the Apple TV app. Because a lot of people see the Apple TV app on their TVs, on their Samsung or LG TVs. They see the app right there, and they believe that that's what Apple TV is, that app. And that's not really true. That black Apple TV app is actually the app you're gonna use to watch Apple TV Plus, the streaming service from Apple, just like Netflix and Prime Video and HBO Max. So if you have that app on your TV, it means that you can watch Apple TV Plus TV shows and movies. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so this is the Apple TV app. Right here, we're talking about the Apple TV box. And of course, the Apple TV box has the Apple TV app. Okay, on top of that, we have Apple Music. So if you are an Apple Music subscriber, you can easily listen to your music all synced up through all your devices on your TV. Super cool using your Apple TV. You have Photos for watching photos with your family and members and all that. So it's going to sync up to iCloud and get all your photos and videos in real time. You also have Apple Fitness Plus, which is very, very good because if you like exercising with Apple Fitness Plus, you can use it straight from your TV. You don't need your iPhone or an iPad. You can do it straight through your Apple TV. And of course, you have the App Store. And please keep in mind that this is not your typical app store from your iPhone. This is specific for TV OS, but it has a ton of apps, but mainly streaming service apps and video apps. So those ones that I mentioned. So the Netflix, Prime Video, HBO Max, but you're gonna have them all. And this is a very cool thing about the Apple TV. So if you use a video service, a streaming service of any kind, you can be sure that you're gonna have it on your Apple TV. Sometimes you don't have it on your TV because maybe your TV is a little bit old, not compatible, but don't worry, your Apple TV is gonna have all of the services. On top of that, of course, you have Apple Podcasts, you have Apple Arcade, and this is a good thing as well because it can game on your Apple TV. And of course, don't expect it to have like a PS5 level or Xbox level, nothing like that. This is more for casual mini games, but you have access to a ton of games from Apple Arcade that you can play with your family, and it's very, very cool to do it straight from your TV box. So you can have that as well. On top of that, with your Apple TV, of course, you have access to AirPlay. So of course, you can mirror your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac screen straight to your TV using Apple TV completely wirelessly using AirPlay. So this is a very good feature as well, especially if you want to stream any kind of content that you don't really have an app. Sometimes you want to stream something from the web, from your browser. So with AirPlay, you can stream pretty much anything that's on your computer or your iPhone straight to your TV using your Apple TV. On top of that, the Apple TV is really, really good for connecting external Bluetooth accessories and devices, like for example, your AirPods or any wireless earphones or headphones, any Bluetooth device for that matter. So then you can use your AirPods, for example, right here, connect them to your Apple TV, put them in, and then you're going to be watching your game, your movie, anything for that matter on your TV, and the audio would just come to you. And you won't be disturbing anybody in the house. So this is very cool as well. And of course, you can also do the opposite and connect a Bluetooth speaker, for example, to your Apple TV, and then the sound output will be the speaker. And I do this all the time with my JBL boombox, for example. Now, after all that, I want to tell you my verdict. If I think you should buy an Apple TV right now in 2023, if it's still worth it or not anymore. So, for most people, and I want to be completely honest with you, it's not worth it. I wouldn't recommend getting an Apple TV right now for one simple reason. Most TVs nowadays will do pretty much all of that. So most TVs nowadays, the newer TVs are smart TVs, so they connect to the internet, They have app stores. They can download pretty much all of the apps that you need on your daily basis. They have Bluetooth, so then you can connect your external devices. They have AirPlay, so they pretty much already have all of those features that I've mentioned that back in the day were very important, big deal features from an Apple TV. Nowadays, normal TVs, your Samsung, your LG TV, it already probably has all of that if it is slightly newer. But of course, there's this scenario where you may have a TV, a large, good TV that you like, that you know it's relatively new, but it's not so smart. So the smart functions are not really good, it's a little bit slow, the internet connection is not so good. So then you may be thinking, okay, so an Apple TV is perfect for me because I can buy it and make my TV smart and great. And the thing is, generally for most people, it's still not worth getting an Apple TV because of the competitors and because of how expensive an Apple TV is. So in that scenario of you having a slightly older TV and wanting to make it newer, maybe an Amazon Fire TV Stick is a best bet for you. It's half the price, less than half the price, and it's gonna give you pretty much everything that you want. So consider that option because there are other options not made by Apple. But of course, there is a scenario where I do recommend an Apple TV. It's not like it's for nobody. So the scenario where I think it's worth it is if you are an Apple enthusiast. If you really love Apple, if you are deep in the ecosystem and you have an iPhone, an iPad, an Apple Watch, a Mac, so you have all the devices. So this is a possibility of transforming your TV, your normal TV, in an Apple TV in a way, because you're interacting with it with the Apple way. I mean, with the Apple experience. So then, of course, you have AirPlay on other TVs. You have Bluetooth connectivity on other TVs. Most new TVs are very good for smart functions and for cycling through apps and everything like that, but they're not as good as an Apple TV. An Apple TV will give you pretty much the best experience you can have on a TV, for that matter. So then it's fast, it's responsive, it's gonna have all your apps. AirPlay is gonna work like perfectly. You're gonna have all Apple services built in right there, working 100%. You know the ecosystem. So you're gonna connect your AirPods with your Apple TV by pressing a single button and it works perfectly. So for that percentage, that small percentage of buyers, I do recommend an Apple TV. But as I said, it's very specific, and it's just if you really want to have it all. You want to have the Apple way, the Apple experience everywhere, on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, and on your TV as well. So that's my recommendation. That's what I wanted to tell you in this video. Maybe the Apple TV is not for you. Maybe it is, but now you know everything you need about the Apple TV. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video as usual. Bye bye, guys.